See, there is nothing in our childhood, nothing in our lives that should ever be wasted, including our negative experiences.
Right. Every single negative experience.
Every single negative experience.
It helps to shape you and
It shapes who you are. If I was never molested, I could never understand the person that's being molested right now, or the person that is locked in the pain of what has happened in their past. So because I experienced that,
right,
now I can talk to them on a level that other people can't reach them.
Hello and welcome to the Kim Jacobs Show. I am Kim Jacobs, your host, and I'm first of all, I'm just like giddy with excitement today. You know why? I have here with me Coach LaMonte Odums from WBTV Morning Break, and I am when I say so excited, I'm so excited to have you here
I wish
today.
people were that excited when they knew I was coming to anything.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they are. They just may hide it, but they're like overjoyed with the fact that you are in their presence.
It's a pleasure to be in your presence.
Thank you for
It's a pleasure to be in your presence.
today.
A pleasure to be in the presence of greatness.
Aww.
You know, because we know that this is something that is about to. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and speak prophetically, I guess. Anyway,
it is.
I'm excited. I'm excited about you being here today because I get the opportunity for all of my viewers, my studio audience here that's here joining me. I really want people to get the opportunity to learn who Coach LaMonte is. First of all, why Coach? Let's start there.
So it was something because a long time ago, you're trying to find your brand. You're trying to find what works for you. So as a certified life coach and master life strategist, I literally was sitting down one night and I said, what is going to differentiate me? What can I do that's different? And what can I call myself that's different? So I put coach in front of my name.
Wow.
I remember that I had somebody that was on my team and they said that will never work.
Oh,
so I was like, okay, yeah. Well, they're not on my team no more.
Okay.
But that will never work. And it did. And it began to take off. And it was literally like, how do I want to brand myself so that people won't forget who I am? And
that is such a differentiator because Coach, no matter what, when I search when people give someone an assignment, I'm like, add Coach to it. If he's not just your regular LaMonte, he's Coach LaMonte.
And it's something, even at the station at WBTV, they call me Coach. If I'm out in public, they call me Coach. And I hear Coach, and I turn around and they're talking about somebody else, And a lot of people, they'll be like, "Well, what sport did you coach?"
Right.
I didn't coach no sport. I coach people.
I'm coaching life.
I'm coaching life. I'm coaching people, helping people to find where their A starts so that they can get to their Z in time.
Oh my goodness. And you actually do a tremendous job of coaching people. I feel like you've coached me. We've had some mentor-mentee type of moments and you've shared with me some tips that I believe will help catapult my whole career in this industry. So I thank you for the tips that you've shared with me.
Well, just before we have our conversation, just know that when I say that I'm in the presence of greatness, I don't say things lightly. I don't just say words for flattery. That's not what I do. There is something that sits on you that the nation needs right now. And this is just a stirring up right now. This is the behind the scenes. When I waited for my moment, I did not know when my moment would come because you have this big vision. It's this thing that that God has shown you. And as I saw what was possible for me, I did not understand why I saw it there, but I'm living here.
Interesting, yeah.
And it's there, and I'm like, when can I get there? But I'm here. And I remember having a conversation late one night. I was literally in my living room, and I was having this conversation with God, and it was more of this pouting thing. All right,
I think I have those conversations too.
Yeah, you showed me something
right.
that I know that I'm capable of doing, but I don't understand why I'm doing it. And he said something to me that literally wrecked my life, and it changed my life. And then the doors to WBTV opened right after that. And what he said to me, he says, until you involve those close to you with your dream, you will never get to the place where I need to send you. And to me, when you think about it, and he went on to also tell me that I was just childish in many of my ways. And he says that, I can't give a big man's dream to a little boy who's stuck. So, and what he meant by that is, as a little boy, we have our toys. This is mine.
Right,
this is mine. And I don't have to share it with you.
Right.
So that's how I was with my dream. I wasn't sharing it with my family. I wasn't sharing it with my team. I wasn't sharing it with those who needed to have an invested interest in it. I was keeping it to myself. And as long as I was acting that way, I was never going to be acting in my dream.
So what did you do differently after you had your talk with God?
I listened. And then I shifted and changed strategy. And I said, if I'm going to be successful at anything, I can't be successful by myself. So I had to make sure that the right people were around me. Not people that would say yes,
right, but
people that would challenge me when I had an idea. And I think in many cases, if we don't have people challenging us,
that's right,
we will show up, but not stay.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you, because I have people around me that challenge me, and they're like, that you might think that sounds great, but let's think about it from this perspective. So they're not just like yes people, but they're people that push the envelope and say, let's look at it from a different perspective. Let's think about it differently. And that's helping me grow as an individual.
And what I've learned is that yes people will lead you down a path of consistent no's. And until,
hear that?
until you get the right people around you, that's where you'll end up if the wrong people are around you.
So when did you get the right people around you?
It was just consistently when you share your vision, and you can't share your vision with everybody because a lot of people can't handle what you share with them. When you share your vision with anyone, there are two things that happen. Right. Number one, they're going to listen and they're going to run, or they're going to listen and they'll be challenged because of who they are. Right. All right. If they've been people that have dealt with rejection, if they've been people that have dealt with not being consistent, procrastinating, not being able to finish, then when you share your dream with them, they're going to give you reasons why you should procrastinate, why you should not be consistent. Exactly. So as I began to share my vision with the right people, you get the right counsel. And as you get the right counsel, you start to make the right moves.
Excellent.
So the vision that I started off with 10 years ago is not the vision that I have right now.
And I can relate to that. So
seriously, and I know folks that are watching right now, you can relate to that too. Is that the vision and the dream that you start off with, it changes as you change. As you mature and you grow, your dream must grow and change and mature with you. If you have the same dream that you had 10 years ago, then there is something wrong, and you have to reevaluate and change strategy again.
Correct.
Because as your dream grows, you grow.
That's why even in presenting some of the footage for my new show, I was like, I can't use my old footage. I'm a different person. I've grown.
Different place.
Everything's evolving into a different place. What I'm even trying to gather from my guests are completely different strategies than what I used 10 years ago. So no, I don't want to use old footage. That's why you have the show happening now with wonderful guests like Coach LaMonte.
And you can't go back to old places to try to find a new you.
Under no circumstances.
You can't do it because the old place does not identify you.
It doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't exist, and it doesn't identify. It couldn't identify you anyway.
Well, speaking of identifying, you identified yourself at a very early age that you would be who you are today.
Yeah.
And I want everyone that's watching and here to hear how that came about in your life.
You know, with promise, when promise is revealed, it's never too far from pain being reacted in your life. Okay? So here I am, a young boy with a dream. All right, and my mother, we grew up in Detroit, Michigan, and my mother worked for an ABC affiliate, WXYZ, and would take my brother and I to the studio on the weekends. And every time I got to the studio, the very first place I would run, when I got to that station, I would run to the studio, I would stand in front of the camera, and I would just start talking.
And I heard you had a, well, you actually at the time, somebody was listening, right?
Nobody was listening. Nobody was listening. And I would talk for, I mean, seriously, my mother would tell you, I was in that camera talking for hours, and she would come and she would peek into the studio, and she would just see me talking, and that's when she knew that something was being downloaded into me. And then it would carry over to my house that, you know, when I would get home from school, my show started. It was called 30 Minutes. Not 60 minutes, but 30 minutes.
And the studio audience was the stuffed animals or something?
I would sit there and I would interview 3 stuffed animals. One was a teacher, one was a janitor, and one was a race car driver.
Okay.
Now, I grew up in Detroit. So the teacher I understood because I had just seen her.
Right.
The janitor I understood because I'd just seen him. Okay. But the race cars driver, I had never got that until I moved to Charlotte and understood that it was the NASCAR capital. And then it started to make sense that even in our childhood, he's slowly revealing to us when our moments will happen.
That's right.
So that was like full circle for me. But at the same time that I'm dreaming, over here, I was being sexually molested by a male family member. So I'm being physically hurt, tormented now, locked in a closet of pain. Yet I was able to escape from moments so that I could still dream. So and what I've discovered is that many people still carry your pain, but next to your pain is your dream. And as long as you have your dream, you have the reason why you're going through your pain. Because now that I've been able to look back, fast forward this man here, the Coach LaMonte that everyone sees, I have an audience where I can talk about my pain and connect with their pain, but still tell them that they can overcome their pain and now get into your purpose and your promise. See, there is nothing in our childhood, nothing in our lives that should ever be wasted, including our negative experiences.
Every single negative experience.
Every single negative experience.
It helps to shape you into who you ultimately become.
Who you are. If I was never molested, I could never understand the person that's being molested right now or the person that is locked in the pain of what has happened in their past. So because I experienced that, now I can talk to them on a level that other people can't reach them. If I had never failed at 2 other businesses that I started, I can never talk to the entrepreneur that's starting a business and give them the advice and just some tips on how they could tweak who they are so that they don't have to experience. See, so every negative I learned, there is a piece that we can pull from that will help us to help other people become successful.
But there are some people that have experienced molestation at a very early age, and many of them are still stuck in that moment because it's hard for them to determine who they can become when someone stole a very important piece of their childhood. And how do you feel you were able to do that?
You know, it had to be by the grace of God, and it wasn't anything that happened overnight. Because as I grew, my issue grew with me. So I became, and then they had the nerve to let me get cute when I was in high school.
Yeah, you're pretty handsome guy.
So when I got cute, then all the ladies were liking me and stuff. So then there was a promiscuousness that also followed with that because of the pain. See, I was hiding my pain through actions that I was not pleased with. And it wasn't until I got to the place that I said, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm tired of giving myself away to people that will never be able to give me back
what you're looking for.
That
void can only be filled by, in your case, you say God.
Yeah, by God. And I know that so many people, right now they're giving pieces of themselves away, not understanding what they're doing or why they are doing it. And it's only because we're trying to shield our pain and we're trying to hide ourselves from number one, in many cases, re-experiencing the pain.
That's right.
Or being
so many
judged,
triggers, right?
Or being judged by the pain that we've gone through.
Right.
You know.
So then you've gone past some kind of way. You picked yourself up. God gave you, and graced you with the ability to move forward, be this business.
Because I knew it wasn't my fault.
Yeah, and that, you know what? We have to stop right there for a minute. I really want you to express to this audience that when somebody does something of that level of violation to you, you said the most profound thing, and I want you to share it with them again.
Because whether it's a child or whether it's a woman right now that's watching who has experienced some type of trauma or rape or something like that, it is easy for many people in society to point the finger at you that it must have been something that you did.
Right.
I can't imagine at the age of 5 to 9 that my shorts were that tight that I did something to entice somebody to
and
violate
me. You have a
me.
smile on your face.
You know,
that is
because you know what I mean. It is, and it is, and but you know what? I smile because I've overcome.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, and there are my moments. I'm going to tell you, there are my moments where, you know, I do remember. I can tell you right now. We lived on a street called Outer Drive. It was a beautiful house. We grew up in middle upper class. My father was he was an engineer for General Motors.
Okay.
And
so well-to-do family.
Yeah, well-to-do family.
Television.
Yeah, you know, it was in the 70s. He was making $35,000 a year. That was a lot of money in the 70s. So that's what we grew up. And we had this room that was what we called the library. My mother was a collector of books, so we had books all over the walls. And in the middle of the library, we had a pool table. My father loved pool, so we had this pool table. And I remember when it all started, that I was running around the house, and this male family member, we were kind of playing hide and seek, and he kind of, you know, chased me into the library, and I was hiding underneath the pool table. And he walked around the pool table. He was pretending that he didn't see me, but he knew where I was. And then he climbed under there, and that's when the first violation started. I was wearing a purple shirt and these blue jeans with these little like track sneakers. I was 5 years old, and today I'm not 5 anymore, but I remember what I was wearing. So you never forget what was like. I can tell you what it smelled like in the house. I can tell you what I heard in the radio playing in one of the other rooms. The OJs were playing. I remember every sound.
And your mom and dad were right there.
The whole family was there.
And nobody knew this was
Nobody
happening.
knew, but that's when it started. And then, you know, it continued from there. I was locked in this place of silence. I didn't talk about it as I got older.
You never told your mom and dad?
Did not have the conversation with my mother until my 18th birthday. We were sitting at a restaurant, and I said to her, I said, you know what? This happened to me, and this is what I experienced. And she says, you know what? It happened to me too. And it was at that moment that we were just like, wow. You know, but that was the first time that I had revealed that. So going back to the point, what was an innocent game of hide and seek to me became a traumatic experience that I still revisit up to this point. But it was not my fault. And I think that many people need to understand that what you've gone through and many of the things that you've experienced through some type of violation, it is not your fault. It is not. It is not your fault. Domestic violence, it is not. Madam, if you are watching right now, just because you said something and you went at him a certain way does not give him permission to hit you. That's not your fault. So we have to, exactly. We have to remember that many of the things that we walk through are not always our fault.
That's right.
But on the other side of it, God is going to use that for the glory.
And now that it's literally this person that violated you and took away your innocence at that age, they still have to encounter you. They're part of your family, right?
This is the thing. And this is what's as my pocket squares is raising up a little bit. I'm sorry. This is a male problem right here where our pocket squares be falling and stuff, slipping sometimes. It was a few years back, and I was preparing myself to go back to Detroit because this individual had been in a coma for a long time.
Had been in a coma?
In a coma.
Oh.
He had experienced some health issues, this and that. So we were actually living here in Charlotte. We've been here now in Charlotte for about 6 years. So this had to be right before WBTV, which I started at the station in 2013.
Right.
So I was preparing myself to take a trip to Detroit
Right.
to go because they said that his condition was getting grave. So I was preparing myself. I was going to go to Detroit. I was going to go to the bed, and I was going to forgive. I was going to say, you know what, I'm going to let this go, this and that. But when I made up my mind of what I was going to do, he died.
Mm-hmm.
He died. So in my mind, I was still weighing and challenged because we say that we forgive. However, there is something that is on the inside of us that challenges us to whether or not we really truly have forgiven someone.
And we know whether
And
we really
know,
forgiven
we
or
know.
not.
So
And it's also difficult to forgive in situations.
it is difficult to
obviously,
forgive,
of
exactly.
that
I mean, there are some
magnitude.
things that are more, some things that are easy to forgive.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But then there are some things that are a challenge.
Right.
So this was going to be a challenge for me, even though my walk of life, I had said, I forgive him, I forgive him, I forgive him, I forgive him. But this was going to be a major step. And then I...
Closure. It was gonna be closure.
Exactly. And when I made up my mind that forgiveness was going to take place,
Right.
he died. So then I'm like, okay, well, Lord God, did I not get there in time? No, because in the earth sense, you had already made up your mind.
made up your mind, and God honored that.
Exactly.
Because it was in your heart, in your intention to forgive. And actually, he knew that I don't know what a person knows when they're passing away in that regard, but he knew based on the walk that you walked, that you had already forgiven him, because it could have taken a drastic turn.
But you want to know
him.
what helped me to forgive him even more?
What?
Finding out that his father had molested him, and finding out that his father was molested.
So it's a generational curse
that
consistently just passed down.
Exactly.
And not
didn't
that
pass here.
No, pass. Yeah.
Hallelujah. Don't
It
have me speaking in
stopped.
tongues.
Let's be very clear. It stopped with Coach LaMonte. He's
exactly.
breaking that generational curse so that no other child in his family has to experience.
Yeah, and it was interesting the way that we raised our kids.
But it passed from his father to
his
him.
father to him,
And
and then
And speaking of children, because you actually have children of your own now. You have
Yeah,
6. You have a lot of children. Lots and lots
I
of
got
kids.
a lot of kids. And my wife and I, we have 5.
Talk about this lovely family, Stacia. Talk about the whole Odom crew
Jesus,
here.
Lord Jesus, we got enough show for this. Yeah. So my wife and I, we have 5 kids. We have all girls, 1 boy.
Oh, okay.
So I feel safe here. She's like, oh. No, I feel safe because I'm hiding from my kids right now. So I have a 21-year-old daughter, a 20-year-old son who just beat cancer, by the way.
Cameron.
Cameron. And daughters Noah.
Cameron.
Yeah.
I wanted to just take a moment there for a moment.
Yeah, that is my man.
He beat cancer.
He did.
What kind of cancer did he have?
It was non-Hodgkin's
praying.
lymphoma.
Say it again.
Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
But he beat it.
And he beat it.
And it's done.
It's
over.
He's over. He's in school
glory.
right now, 3.5 GPA. I didn't even know he could count that high based off of what he was doing in high school, that he could even get a 3.5. He's so we got a letter that he was on the dean's list that came to the house, and I said, I was on the principal's list.
Right.
Principal's list of detention.
I was like, what's
Principal's list
going
of
into the
after school detention. I was on the principal. I stayed on the principal's list. I stayed on this list. Then I have daughters. Noah's 17, Caden is 16, and Keziah is 15.
Wow.
And so they're responsible for keeping me hip.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what? I see on Instagram sometimes this one video clip. Which daughter is that
It's
you?
all of them.
Okay.
We all so if we get in the car, I'm like, you know what? Because I listen to stuff they listen to. And a lot of people, I love the Lord. But you know what?
But no, it's that rap. I was watching once, and you were in there, and
for real.
She gives her like,
I love music. I love music. All right. And I work in a secular industry, so I gotta listen to.
You have to listen to all kinds of music, right?
Stuff. But we'll get in the car, and we'll be like, you know what? Put that song on I like, or or I'll say I'm gonna put this song on.
It's old school sometimes.
Yeah, old school. I mean, we listen to the same thing and stuff. So we'll get in the car. I'll put the camera there, and we'll have a conversation. We'll have a conversation over music, and then the next thing I know, we're sitting up there and we're singing and we're.
But they're really in character. I mean, it's like get the glasses and like with the attitude. But we have to show a video clip of that. Are we able to show a video clip of that?
Yeah. For the cameras, that's who they are.
Oh, I know. I can tell. I mean,
they are expensive.
Girls are expensive.
I tell people all the time. People be all excited. What we just found out we're pregnant. I'm like, really? And they be happy about it. I'm like, wait
till you see,
because they get expensive.
Well, my husband and I, we have 4 boys, and I saw, and we have our daughter Jayla. But I saw your daughters. Oh, I was like, these are some drop.
Yeah, they are pretty. Girls. And see, that's the thing. They're pretty, and they know it.
So they know they're cute.
No, they know they're cute. For real. And I mean, and they'll bring these guys over, and I don't know. Some of them, my wife is like this. When they start talking about somebody, like my wife's like, okay, let me see their picture.
Okay.
So she'll look at the picture, be like, nope. They'd be like, no, it's a decent picture. Little boy sitting there. She's like, no, I see all behind that smile. I see all behind it. So yeah, that's
well, I definitely am not trying to do, the whole prearranged marriage.
Well, we already talked about that because your son's got good credit, and that's where it start right there. That's where it's like this. If he don't got all his teeth, I can make a pay. I could overlook that as long as the credit is good. Okay. Because as long as the credit is good, he can always fix his teeth. So no.
Okay. if you have some missing teeth, everything, but you have good credit,
get them fixed.
Okay, we'll just.
The smile means everything.
The smile means. Well, look at his smile. That's why he's saying that. A smile does mean a lot. Look at these great teeth. So Stacia and these 5 children, they're all girls, 1 boy, and. Animated family, to say the least. What's like your greatest joy about being a father?
My greatest joy about being a father is that they were able to endure the same pain with us and come out when we came out.
And what do you mean? Like, be more
specific. When we moved here to Charlotte, we were here for about 6 months, and then we lost everything. We were homeless for about a year.
Oh,
so we're homeless for about a year. And we were going from hotel to hotel to hotel. But the craziest thing happened is that the moment where we were put out of our house in Valentine, that it was Wednesday, March 13th, 2013. And then a week later on Saturday morning, I'm looking in the camera. Hello, Charlotte. How you doing? I'm Coach LaMonte, and I'm here to get you motivated. So when I started on television, I was homeless.
Wait, no, I don't remember reading that anywhere. Is that something on social media somewhere?
It's something that people know that watch.
What?
So we were homeless, but when we walked,
I watched your show. I didn't know that.
But
when
we walked through our pain, they walked with us.
Okay.
And they never complained.
And they still kept their wonderful spirit.
There was only one person in our family out of the 7 of us that was complaining, and it was me.
Wow. But that's because it was your responsibility.
It was my responsibility
to get
and I gotta tell
shit
you,
back on track.
For real. And I got to tell you, I mean, the conversation that I had with God, that they were not PG. Like I was going in. I'm like, I don't understand this.
Right.
The character on the other side was being built. The greatest moment that I had is here I am, we're homeless, we're going through all this stuff. I'm trying to figure out, what business looks like, how things are going to turn around. And I said, I made the mistake by saying to my family, that's it, I'm done, I quit. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to get another job, I'm going to find something,
Right.
And my son said something to me.
What?
He said, if you quit, it's the most selfish thing that you've ever did, and it will change my entire idea about who you are.
Wow.
And I said, what do you mean before I knock your head off?
Okay.
And he, for talking to me like that, and he says, because if you don't finish what you started, we will never see how this was supposed to turn out. And after he said that to me, it just changed.
Well, you know what? That's interesting that you say that, because I actually, one time in our church, I did a sermon and I was talking about finishing what you start. How important it is to pick up that goal, that dream, whatever it is, and dust it off and finish what you've already been given as your task to accomplish. It's so important.
It is. And I tell people all the time that, it's not about where you start, but it's how you finish.
Yes.
And I've told people, don't ever say that again. Because it has absolutely everything to do about how you start.
It does.
Because how you start can be in the positive or the negative.
That's right.
Well, however you start, when you get to where you are, you will remember where you were.
That's right.
And that will be your motivation to keep going.
You have to have that. This is my why. This is the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. And no matter what, I'm going to keep pushing myself, because at the end of the day, I'm doing it for this reason, for this purpose.
That's right.
And so I'm motivated by that. So how did WBTV, a week after being homeless, you come out and you're like, hey, wonderful teeth, wonderful smile, I'm Coach LaMonte.
So I started on Saturday mornings with Krista Miranda. And I'll never forget how we were doing our Saturday morning segments, and the station said to me, they said, okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to give you 5 Saturdays, bi-weekly Saturdays, and let's see how it works, this and that. So 5 Saturdays ended up being, almost 5 years. Because the audience really related to whatever it is that I was talking about.
And
but I'll never forget
Coach LaMonte.
Everybody, except the people I live with.
They love you.
Yeah, I'm just teasing. But I'll never forget her and I. We went to lunch one time, and this was in the middle
and Kristen.
of me and Kristen. And this was in the middle of our Saturday morning segment, this and that, and we were homeless at the time. So I looked across from her and we were just talking. I said, you know what? We're homeless right now. And her jaw was like this, because I never wore my pain. I never wore my pain. You
so
could never tell.
So many people wear everything on their face, and it's like the whole world is coming down. The weight of the world is on your shoulders.
Seriously, you could never. If I could tell what you're going through, it's because you either want attention or you don't know how to handle your pain.
I'm so glad you said that. Say that.
Seriously, when people wear their pain, it's only because they want attention or they don't know how to handle their pain. So whatever I was walking through, I made sure that when those cameras were on or I was in public, nobody knew what I was going through. My mother always said, I don't care if you got $1 in your pocket, you better act like you got 5,000 in it. And that's how I always carried myself.
That's a high five moment.
I mean, for real, because you know what? People are always watching us, and how they see you carry yourself will give them breakthrough for what they're dealing with right there. So it has just been, what we've been able to do as a family. I always tell my kids, when you leave the house, you representing God second, but you representing me first. I say that all the time.
You're on WBTV. You better recognize.
I say it all the time. I'm like, hey, don't you be sitting up there acting crazy.
And because when Coach LaMonte,
I show up at the school, and they'll be like, Coach.
Coach.
We saw you, and You said something, and your daughters aren't listening to you.
Yeah, they're not doing what you said on your show.
You representing God second, but you representing me first.
That's so funny.
And please understand how the context in which I say that, because you
God person.
I mean, no, because they see my name before they see the God you serving.
That's right.
I mean, and that's how we gonna put it right there. But it's about character. It's about how you carry yourself.
You carry yourself very well.
I like to think I try.
And I'm very proud of the young man that you've become, and I can't wait to see what the future holds. So speaking of,
in the future,
what does the future look like from your perspective? So I know you have a plan.
Yeah, I do have a plan. So our company, Lee James, the Lee James Company, we have a lot of projects that are pretty much just moving forward. My wife has a book series about a young girl. She's a princess. It's called Harper Rain. It's in illustration right now. And she is, and Harper Rain.
Okay.
And this character is biracial.
So maybe I can get her on the show.
Oh yeah, you can definitely get her on the show.
Okay. So he's booked you already, Stacia. So if you're watching, you're going to be a guest on the Kim Jacobs Show, and it's Harper Rain.
Harper Rain, and everything that comes along with that from the vision.
What is the book about? Tell me a little bit.
So it's about a young girl and her father, and the relationship between a young girl and her father.
Okay.
And how she walks through the life of Harper is literally going to keep people captivated.
And now is Harper her?
Well,
okay.
Harper,
wait, don't answer that.
All right,
Scratch.
I'll let her.
We will never let Stacia tell us who Harper is when she comes on the Kim Jacobs Show. So yes, we hope you're waiting with bated breath because we want you to join and tune in when Stacia Odums comes on with Harper Rain.
And I tell you.
Oh, that's
and then I have a national project that's going to be starting up. Syndicated. It's called Uosophy. So you'll be hearing a lot about that.
What?
Uosophy.
Uosophy,
which is the study and science of who you are and what makes you successful.
Uosophy.
So they're daily moments that help people to grow on a daily basis. And the big thing on
Wait a minute. Okay, so now just let me make sure I understand, because you've already said a couple of big things. Harper Rain, which is big,
Uosophy, which is going to be huge, which is going to be syndicated. It's going to be syndicated on television and radio.
Okay, that's Coach LaMonte.
And there's a lot of other little things that are tied and connected to that. But the big thing that is in the works, and I'll go ahead and I'll just put it out there.
You're gonna put it out here? Oh wait.
I'm not going to tell you what the name of it is. I'm not going to tell you what the name of it is.
But this is exclusive reveal here on the Kim Jacobs Show with Coach LaMonte.
This is
happening. Reveal it.
And it's all falling into place. But there is a television network. There is a television network that all the pieces that we're just formulating this entire plan right now. And I believe that with this will become my full-time baby, that I will be more behind the scenes with things, helping to develop programs that inspire people.
Don't forget where you got some of your exposure right here on the Kim Jacobs Show.
When you come into the presence of anyone that can carry an audience, and that's the important thing. When you see programs and you see hosts and you see people that are doing things, the very first thing that you say to yourself is, are they anointed to finish? And can they carry people somewhere? Can they take people somewhere? Can you take people on a daily journey? And that's what made this little boy right here, while other kids were watching Tom and Jerry and the Brady Bunch and all this other stuff, I was watching Phil Donahue because I was watching and learning. And the thing that I could say about an Oprah and a Phil, they brought people somewhere. So when I've started to look at people differently.
Interesting.
And when I look at someone that is involved in entertainment, in television, in media, can they bring someone on a journey that pulls them away for 60 minutes, that takes that person, literally reaches through the camera and snatches them out of their living room and say, let's go.
Go on
and
this journey.
Can you lead someone? And I could say with confidence that you have that on you, that you can lead people. You can bring people to a place where you're going. And I think that that's what makes television, the medium of television is so powerful. And I know I'm talking a lot right now, and I know
Oh,
we
no,
have
this
to
is
wind
good.
down.
You notice I didn't interrupt him. Normally, as a host, you do chime in and everything. But I'm like, no, you go ahead.
No, because one of the things that's important and what I had to learn is that the person on the other side, they're going through something.
Mm-hmm.
So my job is to not only educate and entertain, but I have to pull them through the camera.
That's right.
And let's go where I go, because it is our responsibility to take people away from their world.
That's right.
And when you take someone away from their world, you give them the option to either enter into a new world that you show them, or they'll make the decision to return to the one where they were.
That's right.
So our job is to pull people into a world that we show them, where they can begin to make the changes, where they can begin to create
the
new
pieces
strategy
of
and
their lives
ideas
back together.
So the reason why I'm able to say this is what I'm working on is because on the other side I've seen it.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it, and I won't stop until it happens.
And you clearly have proven that you won't stop until it happens.
And
talking to teddy bears,
yeah, I mean,
and now
seriously.
being on WBTV, and so what is it?
Uosophy
will happen.
Yep.
Your production behind the scenes will happen,
Yep.
because it started with a little boy who had a dream to become involved with television and watching.
Television.
And I have to share this with you real quick.
Yes, ma'am.
That I actually, probably at the same time you were, I literally would come home from school and I would cut Phil Donahue on, I would cut Oprah on, and I would cut the closed captioning on.
Well, she just dated me, because when I was starting this, Oprah wasn't even on.
Oh, okay. So Oprah, Phil Donahue, I would actually cut it on, and I would read the closed captioning and just say every single word that they said. As a teenager, I just literally would say every word that they said, just practicing. And I was like, one day I'm going to be a television talk show host, so I might as well go ahead and practice. I said, hey, I'm Kim Jacobs, and I would say in this particular case, I would say, hey, girl, today on the show I have Gail, my girlfriend's coming on the show, and I would talk about that, or I would talk about whatever Phil Donahue was talking about, and literally just read it out loud. People thought I was crazy. Mm-hmm. But I knew that eventually I would do something in the television world.
Okay, so I know that we're almost at the end of the show.
Yes,
All
yes.
right. 'Cause I got that mental clock going on. But let me say this. The reason why it's happening.
Your pocket square.
Oh,
pocket
yeah,
square.
there
Okay, I know you don't want one shot without the pocket square. Okay.
But the reason why it's happening
right.
is because your words have finally caught up with you. Mm-hmm. See, and we have to remember that every word that you put out, a word has no feeling, it has no emotion. All right, a word doesn't even know what it means.
That's right.
All right, so the moment that you were saying that many years ago, your words had one agenda: to go out into the atmosphere and to draw you to what your word says, and to draw what you spoke to you. And the perfect thing that happens, and listen to this, when destiny happens, is because what you spoke has drawn you, and it has drawn it. And then collision happens, and that's when you step onto your stage. So get ready, your stage is coming.
Oh, And that's something you do in church.
For real.
Right there, that right there, preach.
I mean, well, since we are doing that, let me pass this cup, this plate around.
Oh, that's so funny.
Where that plate at?
Let's
go ahead and let's go pass that plate around. Let's sew into this. Thank you for letting me come.
Thank you so much for being
Thank
my
you for
guest
letting me
today.
come.
I think it was obviously exactly what we attempt to accomplish, which is a journey.
Mm-hmm.
So today, I really do hope that you've come on a journey with us and you've learned from a young man that had a lot of things happen in his childhood that could have changed the course and the direction of his life for the worse. But guess what? He took it and turned it and fueled it into who he became today. The wonderful, great Coach LaMonte, WBTV, and many other projects that he's working on that are yet to be seen and that will come to pass. So make sure that you continue to watch Coach LaMonte every weekday from beginning at 9 a.m.
Yeah, Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday on
WBTV
WBTV Channel 3. So make sure you tune in. Thank you so much.
Thank you for letting me be here. This was great. This was great.
Great.
And thank you all for tuning in to today's show. Please tune in next time. Have a great one.